Ready, go.
Staying alive. January 8, 2023. Glad to have you with us this Sunday evening for another live video. This is not a live video, but the chat room here is live. And we appreciate you jumping in there to the chat room. Sometimes as many as 1,500 to 2,000 people in that chat room every Sunday night at about the same time. And we appreciate that. It's always fun to hear where you're from and hear your comments as this video comes out. We're going to try to cut to the chase here. Got a whole bunch of topics, and I am going to get to the data that you want to get here. The Sunday night videos are always a recap of general aviation fatal accidents, and this one is no exception. I'm going to get to that. I'm sorry you have to suffer through the rest of it in order to get there, but some interesting stuff going on here. First of all, Dylan and I are going to play a song here at the very end of this. You'll want to hang around for the very end of it because it's Dylan's last song ever. Dylan and I are... It's at the end. I'll explain why. I'm going to let Dylan explain why. I'm donating his body to science. No, that's not true. I called and asked if we could donate Dylan's body to science, and I said, no, thank you. So there's a good reason for it, but we're going to play one more song. This is going to be Dylan's last one for a little while, so I'm going to have to carry the torch solo here for a little while, but we'll get to all that. In the meantime, last week over the Christmas holidays, I got a little bit lonely. I want you to know I wrote a letter to the Lonely Hearts Club, and just today got a letter back from them. It said, Dear Dan, we're not that lonely. So I guess I'm not going to be a member of the Lonely Hearts Club. We flew the DC-3 quite a bit last week. I want to show you a video coming up next week. Probably midweek is going to be what I call a ride-along video, a DC-3 ride-along. So the story is this guy named Jim. He contacted me, wanted to fly the DC-3 left seat. I'm not sure how old Jim is. I'm guessing probably around 70 or something like that. Private pilot, several hundred hours, hasn't flown for a little while. I put him directly in the left seat, let him taxi it. Make a takeoff. We went out and did touch and go. So I'm gonna put the entire untouched video up on YouTube and let you look at that.
There you go. Now you can close your window. DC-3 is in position. Hold on, 1-4 Griffin. All right, this right back here. Alright, so I set 2,000 RPM and see how the manifold pressures are equally matched there. Now I'm going to cycle the props. I'm going to cycle them again. There you go. And now I'm going to do a mag check. Left side. That's good. Here comes right side. That's good. Needle's hardly flickered at all.
Hardly flickered.
And now I'm going to do a feather check on the left engine. Buttons in. Now the right side. Buttons in. Drops. It drops. So both our feather pumps are working. There you go. Now I'm going to cycle the mags, or the props one more time here. Make sure all that oil's going good. Now I'm going to let them stabilize out here. Back to 2,000 RPM. And everything looks real nice. I like it. Temperatures are good. And we are nice. So now I'm going to ease our RPMs back down to 1,000. And just take a quick look at your left engine. Sometimes in flight I'll ask you, how's your engine? The correct answer is clean and dry, if it truly is clean and dry.
It's clean and dry.
All right, looks good. Mine is clean and dry. It's a very nice day. All right, now, all that stuff's done. Getting a DC-3 started in the air is no easy process. It's a lot of stuff.
It hasn't been easy since we got it away from the hangar.
Exactly. Steeple sound is off, propellers are forward, mixtures are auto-lit, speedo heat's off, annunciator panel warning lights are all checked. Flaps are up and indicating. Trims are 0, 0, and negative 2.0. Departure briefing. Runway heading on runway 14. It's going to be your takeoff. You keep flying until the cows come home. I'm expecting an engine failure. When it happens, engine failure, gear up, identify, verify, feather. I'll take care of all that if you fly the airplane. Okay, that's your main job. You're flying until I say the magic words, which is...
I got it.
I got it. If I say that, then it's a different deal. Cockpit doors and windows are closed and locked. Final items. Exterior lights are set. Boost pumps are on. Transponder is mode C. Bow flaps are trail. Tail wheel is locked. D4 takeoff checklist all complete.
Where'd you lock the tail wheel?
Right here.
That's what you were, okay.
Yep.
It would be going like that if it wasn't locked.
It would be squirreling all over the place. All right, you good?
I'm good.
Feet on the bottom part of the pedals?
Bottom part of the pedals.
Way down. There you go.
Wait, I should be just on the toes.
Yep, just on the toes there. Grove traffic DC3 is departing on 14, Griffin. All right, so now we're going to advance the power, but real smooth. I want you to keep your eyes all outside 100% of the time, and I'm going to help you keep it straight, and I'll talk you through what we got to do, okay?
Got it.
All right, so let's add a little bit of power before we let it roll. All right, that's good. Now push some power in. Left rudder. Push some more power in. More power. Okay. All right, now push on the yoke. Easy, push on the yoke. Good. Power is set. Easy does it. There you go. Left rudder. There you go. Airspeed's alive. Push on the yoke. Push. There you go. V2. Rotate. Come on up. Nice and easy. Hold it right there. Positive rate. Gear up. Gear's coming up. Now look outside. Yep. Look outside. Lower the nose a little bit. Lower the nose. There you go.
Nothing edited out, start to finish. Actually, it's over an hour, and towards the end, my GoPro's quit. So I'm just going to give you all you want. It's free. It's a ride-along video. So if you see a DC3 video next week, that's a ride-along. Now, I want you to know that you could come and do the exact same thing. I'm wanting to do more ride-along videos. Why? Because it's good for you. You would enjoy flying a DC3 because I truly put you in the left seat. And when you see the video next week, you'll see I didn't touch anything. I talked him through and I helped him, but I didn't steal any of his flying. When you come in and rent the DC3 for me, you're actually helping me pay for it and go towards cost. Now, gas is about anywhere from $5.45 a gallon to $6 a gallon, depends where you go. I charge $1,800 an hour. WAT for the DC3 includes everything that you need to do. 1 hour minimum rental. You can bring your friends. They can ride in back and take pictures. You can use your cell phone. So it helps when I am able to rent the DC3 out. It takes a full day to give a 1 hour flight in the DC3. By the time I get it out, get it ready, pre-flight it, and get it all ready to go, it burns up a whole day to do that. But it's worth it, and I'm wanting to do more videos of people, average people, basic minimums or private pilot to go fly the DC3, and I'll put you in the left seat. So here's the graphic for that. This graphic was made by my friend Al Clark, makes all my graphics for me. Talented guy down in Florida. Here's Al's contact information. This guy can make anything graphics-wise, and he's available. Al makes all this stuff for free for me because he appreciates my mission and what I'm doing on everything here. So the ride-along video is coming up, and also next, coming up tomorrow. Keep in mind, tomorrow I'll have the DC3 down in Jacksonville, Florida. That's Craig Field, KCRG at Holiday Aviation. Here's the graphic for that. They're doing a special seminar in the morning that I'm not totally involved in because I'm not sure what time I'm going to get there. But it has to do with the vaccine for pilots and the medical implications of having the vaccine for pilots. So that's in the morning. Afternoon is a meet and greet for anybody that wants to fly in. I'll have some hats down there and some stuff like that, but we're going to fly the DC3 in. The Lockheed can't make it on this trip. We'll bring the Lockheed out on a separate trip, but I'm actually going to fly the DC3 down there, and I got a plane load of people coming with me, so it should be totally fun. Look for you at Craig Field tomorrow. RSVP to Meredith if you're going to show up. Give her a head count. She's promised a steak buffet for everybody, so she needs to know how many people are going to be there. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Meredith, she's going to kill me, but it's not a steak buffet, but there are refreshments and some kind of finger food probably or something like that down there. So give Meredith a head count if you're going to show up at Craig Field. Okay, let's go on. We got more stuff to talk about, but we still got to get to the accent, so here we go. If you notice, I take my videos down every 7 days, actually every 6 days. My weekly videos that come up concerning accidents, those come down every 6 days. I got some other videos that have been up and they stay up there. Those are kind of documentary style. Those stay up. If you go and take a look at the colon video I just produced and put up, that's staying. And then I got DB Cooper, Deep Secrets, Part 1 and Part 2. Especially Part 2 is very interesting. It's only about an hour long. If you have a chance to look at DB Cooper, Deep FBI Secrets, Part 2, that's a fascinating story. Take a look at that. Those are definitely staying up. The rest of them come down every 6 days because we keep on making new fatal accidents every week. And I just throw the old ones away and give you a fresh set once a week. So that's how that works. Now, there's some other stuff coming up here that is going to stay up. And I'm putting a lot of work into these. One of them is the FAA concept that you should not say the wrong thing in the traffic pattern. And if you do, the FAA is going to violate you. So the advisory circular concerning traffic patterns and avoiding the midair in the traffic pattern by the FAA, this advisory circular is under construction right now. And here's the guy's name and contact email who is in charge of this. I am working on this guy because he said that if you say, he's threatened to violate pilots who say the wrong thing in the traffic pattern or use the wrong wording. Specifically, any traffic in the area, please advise, is the statement that he does not want to hear you say. I kind of like that, and I want you to know, been a lot of banter over what to say on the radio. Some people like that, some people don't. I'll tell you what I do. When I approach an airport VFR and it's a VFR traffic pattern, I listen first. I listen from a long ways out to try to get a general idea of who's there, what the activity is. Is there helicopters? Is there balloons? Is there flight training? What's going on there? I listen first. Then, if I don't hear anything, and I'm getting close to the airport, I really want to know, is there somebody, could there possibly be somebody there that simply hasn't talked yet? So I'll either say, hey, how's it going? Or is there any traffic in the area? Any traffic in the area, please advise. I'll try to say something to see if I can stir up, kind of like getting a covey of quail to come up out of the brush. I'm trying to flush this thing out. I'm trying to flush out, is there anybody else out there that I need to know about that hasn't talked? Any traffic in the area, please advise, works, or it doesn't really matter what you say, but you got to initiate with a question. End that with a question mark and initiate the conversation. If there is somebody, ask them a question. Start the conversation and get it worked out. That's what the two-way radio is for. That's why you have headsets, so you can talk to the other person. It doesn't really matter. You like to fly anyway. Work it out with the other person. You either extend or have them extend, but it's all based on communication. You got to talk about this in the air. When people make position reports only, that doesn't solve anything, and that explains all of our mid-airs. And I'm going to get on this guy. The next one is, you've heard of this thing called a Brasher warning. Brasher is FAA's term for possible pilot deviation. I don't know if you've ever been told possible pilot deviation, please copy this phone number and call us. That's a Brasher. Possible pilot deviation. Well, there's also a possible controller deviation, and I've started down this path. Controllers also make mistakes, and controllers also are capable of receiving remedial training or getting their wrist slapped for something that they do either unintentionally or intentionally wrong. There's some controllers out there that need a possible controller deviation alert. So I did my first one. PCD001 is mine. I turned it into the FAA last week, and I'm going to tell you entirely about the story. This controller made a mistake, a serious mistake, and I figured it out. It followed with a possible pilot deviation. This wasn't me, but I'm going to tell you the whole story because this is a fascinating story, and I want you to know there's possible inspector deviations. It's possible that a Fed inspector could be a deviant. It's possible that a controller could be a deviant. It's also possible that pilots make mistakes. We're all in the same bucket. You know why? It's because we're all human beings. We're all capable, either intentional or unintentional mistakes. And just because you have an FAA employment card does not make you exempt from either voluntary or involuntary errors occurred in the course of doing what you do. So I'm going to follow that. Now, here's another thing. This has to do with judges, lawyers and judges. I'm going to get into this. People are always asking about this whole concept of defamation, defaming and saying and using people's names or doxing people. I want you to know that everything on the internet is pretty much fair game. There's a law, a federal law called fair use. If you put your picture on your Facebook page and it's public domain, it's under fair use. Anything that the federal government or the state courts publishes in terms of documents and video, they're all fair game. You can't be accused of defaming somebody. Especially if you don't say anything bad about them, you just state what you have and what you're going to show. So here's a case of a Superior Court judge who already made an error. This has to do with a motion for summary judgment, and he made a severe error. The case was appealed to the appeals court. The appeals court turned it back and listed so many times where this judge made errors. They used the word, the judge erred, the judge error, the judge erred. He made an error on this. And then they also so far as to say that they are going to reverse his decision. So this was a huge error on this Superior Court judge's part. Since then, he has made a second error, even more grave than the first. And I'm about to call him out and prove that via a second method on that. In time, he's about to make a third one. If he gets 3 strikes, I'm going to take his job, and I'm going after his job on this thing. This is going to be 3 strikes on this thing if this guy pulls the trigger on this. So I'll let you know all about that. This does have to do with aviation. This is aviation law. Some of you have asked about aviation law concerning what you can and cannot do on YouTube and what you can and can't say. I can tell you that you can say it. There's nothing wrong with saying it. And here's this guy's picture. Here's what he did, and here's a copy of the report. This is public information. Comes right back from the Court of Appeals. It's public document, and I'm going to show it, and I'm going to tell you the story because there's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing they can do about it. So that's coming up in the next near future. All right, now let's get on to December 2022 data. December 2022, we had 10 general aviation fatal accidents, a total of 20 lives lost. We've covered most of these. November 7032X was a Cessna 150 that we didn't talk about. That's the one in California. The passenger was 95 years old, and he lost his life. I believe it was due to no shoulder restraint system. This airplane went in the water just off Santa Monica. The pilot survived. The passenger died in that engine failure. They put it in the water. Should have been survivable. I'm not sure if the frailty of the passenger had anything to do with it or not. Don't really have a lot to go on that. The next one, November 595 Romeo Lima, is a Bell 407 in Louisiana. This is a accident concerning the helipad. A pilot and 3 passengers died on this on the very last day, one of the very last days of December. And this helicopter was owned by the same helicopter company who has a streak of fatal accidents. I'm not sure what's going on with this particular turbine helicopter offshore oil rig helicopter company, but they have got it going on with fatal accidents, and this is yet another one. 4 people lost their lives on this tragic accident. Now let's take a look at 2022 data. Here's the summary from the Facebook page, Aviation Accidents, This Day in History, one of my favorite Facebook pages. Here's your 2022 data, and I want you to know that in 2022, we were down to 200 fatal accidents. That's the lowest it's been in a long time, and I appreciate that. Does it have to do with the fact that we're doing less flying? I don't know. It's hard to tell how many hours that we're actually flying. I don't know the answer to that. NTSB does it on the basis of how many fatal accidents per 100,000 flight hours flown. I don't know how many hours we flew in 22, so I don't know. All I can tell you is that my goal is to lower that number. I want to see that 200 number come down to 180, and then 160, and then 140. I'm going to keep on this. I'm doing it with AQP. I'm making you aware of the scenarios that are going to occur to you after you get your pilot's license. These are the scenarios. That's what this whole channel is all about. AQP, the scenarios. In 2023, I'm taking the DC-3. I'm going on the road. I'm doing road shows. If you would like me to come to your town, in fact, I have a date available in February. I got several February dates available. I'll bring the DC-3 to your town. I want to talk about AQP. It's free. I don't charge you anything. I want to come and talk to your pilots. If you've got a group or anything like that, you send me an email anytime during the year. If you've got a date available or an evening or a function or a hangar party, I'd love to bring the DC-3 and come on out and talk to your people about AQP and explain how they can learn about this and practice and get ahead and be ready for these scenarios that are going to occur to them. 2022, I'm very happy. 200 general aviation fatal accidents. Actually, I'm not happy with the 200. That number is still way too high, but at least it's a trend in the correct direction. Did we have anything to do with it? I don't know. It's hard to tell, and I'm not trying to take credit for it. I'm just saying we're working really hard, and now in 2023, I'm going to redouble my efforts. I'm going to work even harder going forward. We're going to get this AQP concept going. There's not going to be anybody on the planet that hasn't heard of it and know about it and be prepared. That's the very best we can do. Here's the accidents for January so far. There have not been very many, but I'll give them to you real quick here. January 2023, let's take a look at them. On the 2nd was November 555, November Romeo. It's an Embraer 300, happened on takeoff. The guy's name was Nathan Ricks, age 62. I'm not one to speculate, but this was not weather related. I cannot tell for sure that it was not ice and snow accumulation. This is a takeoff accident. The airplane had been in a hangar. It was based at Provo. It took off from Provo. It had Rick in the Mr. Ricks in the left seat of this Phenom 300. He was a very experienced pilot, well qualified. There was nothing wrong here. A great guy, a pillar in the community, a fantastic individual. This guy, I'm going to give you my best guess on this thing here. People are talking about inadvertent TR or inadvertent flap deployment or something like that. I don't see it. The only two things that I can think of here is that it needed flaps for takeoff, and flaps were not set. I don't know if the Phenom 300 has a takeoff warning system or not that would alert a pilot that or not. The other thing I can think of, a very strong possibility, is mistrimmed. I've seen this because I've flown all these light jets before. Mistrimmed. If you took off and you were trimmed full nose up, this airplane definitely, according to witnesses, it came up off the ground. I'm not sure high, probably 50 to 100 feet, and it rolled to the left. What could cause it to roll to the left? Well, a stall could. This is a stall, and a wing dropped, and it cartwheeled down the runway. That explains how come Mr. Ricks sustained fatal injuries. The guy in the right seat is alive in critical condition. The two passengers in back are virtually unscathed. No problem at all. The two people in back, which was his wife as well, his wife survived it. She was in back. But Mr. Ricks in the left seat, the impact of this thing was a cartwheel on the left-hand side. The cockpit, the left-hand side, the pilot's seat took the brunt of the impact, sheared the wings and the engines off of this thing. And there's only a couple things I could think of. You general aviation people out there, think before you go out here. Before taxi checklist, flaps set, elevator trim set. Before you come out of the chocks, your flaps are set. Whatever flaps you're going to use, that's where they're set. Whatever trim you're going to use for takeoff, that's where it's set. Double check it again on the before takeoff checklist. Flaps set for takeoff. Trims set for takeoff. Don't let this thing rear up. A business jet with this much power trimmed full nose up will definitely, when it reaches sufficient speed, this thing will definitely go skyward. Let's take a look at the rest of these that occurred in January of this year so far. Ironically, 2 days later, it also in Utah, Seneca. I'm not sure the situation here. I've not researched very much on this. This is a PA-34 Seneca. I'm thinking it was possibly ICE. It was definitely IMC. The guy's name is Fred Jones, age 71. He was the only one on board. ICE is possible. Really, anything's possible. I can't even really venture a guess on this one. Then the next one, November 673 Victor. This is an M35 or a Debonair in Arkansas. This airplane was making a high-speed descent into Fayetteville, Arkansas. The pilot was the only one on board, Lewis Barnes, 43 years old, very successful businessman, well-known insurance guy in the Northwest Arkansas area, owned quite a few Papa John's pizzas. I'm not sure what happened to this, and I don't have any other data to even be able to venture a guess on this. We'll probably know more a little bit later on as the spreadsheet starts to fill in. Then the last one, a really strange accident, 592 Fox Lima. Here's a picture of the airplane. This is a Cherokee PA-28. This is a 140 in Virginia. The guy's name is Christian Fawchild, age 54. Both him and the passenger died. Dave VFR, I'm not sure. You know, it just boggles my mind how you can possibly kill yourself in a Cherokee 140 Dave VFR. Like, what? A wing didn't fall off. This wasn't ice. This wasn't thunderstorm. They didn't hit a tornado. This thing turned into a fireball on the ground. This thing hit almost vertical. There is no crash debris. This was not a long-running crash site where they crashed and the landing approach path is a quarter mile long. This thing hit vertical. How do you stall and spin a Cherokee and blow it into smithereens on a day like this? Come on, people. I don't understand. Is this another DMMS accident? Did they simply get it too slow? I don't know the answer to that. We'll know more eventually going on. I'm keeping track of every one of these as we go. So as the data fills in and we start to get bits and pieces and trivia of information, then I can kind of assign an AQP number. I'm kind of thinking this may possibly be a DMMS. I don't really see very much other possibility on that. That's it for today. We got to get out of here. I'm going to call Dylan. Dylan, in a minute, we're going to pull out a guitar. We don't actually have anything planned yet, but Dylan's going to give you his explanation of exactly what happened here and what's about to happen and how come we had to donate Dylan's body to science. Now, we didn't. Actually, I thought about it, but didn't actually happen. So, Let's get this done. And don't forget Airborne Animal Rescue. I'm very excited about this. If you have a chance to donate, the DC-3 is primed and ready. I've got all my contacts done. In 2023, you're going to start to see us moving some dogs. This is going to be fantastic. I am very happy with the shape that the DC-3 is in and our flight readiness status. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. If you want to volunteer and go with us on some of those flights and help load dogs and help go on these trips, I need you. I need some strong backs to help load crates and be able to do this, and some people that can sleep on a sleeping bag and get this stuff done. I need people with logistics, the people at the humane societies that need dogs moved here and there and figured out where we got to go and what we can do. The whole thing is paid for. I've been able to pay for all of this and have everything via your $1 and $2 donations to Airborne Animal Rescue and my YouTube channel, so that I've got a gas kitty built up. Everything's totally good. I've got the airplane done. I've taken in $700 or $800 per video since last June here, and I've been able to buy the parts and finish preparing this airplane, and I'm very happy with the status of this aircraft, and it is now locked and loaded, ready to go. I hope you'll come and visit us in Craig Field, Jacksonville, Florida tomorrow, Monday, January 9. We'll be down there. For now, I'm going to get out of here for my tiny little itty-bitty fledgling YouTube channel, Dan Grider. Probable cause. All right, here we are, Dylan, and everybody wants to know, where are you going and how come this is your last guitar jam?
You're kicking me out?
Yes. Bad behavior.
Hey, that didn't take long. Well, I'm going out west for about 3 months, so I got 2 buddies that we're going to split an Airbnb out there. They're already out there, so I'm going to go meet them, pay rent to live out there, and I'm lucky enough to take my 9 to 5 out there, go full remote, and live out there on the slopes. So it should be fun. It'll take my 9 to 5 to a 6 to 2. So it'll be interesting, and I'll get to work out there on the mountain as well and get free ski pass and whatnot. So
you're going to be a ski bum and carry 2 jobs. You're going to do your work remote and be a ski bum and work, or you're going to work for the
mountaineer or whatever.
Yeah, you're going to be a mountaineer. All right. Does that mean that I have a free place to stay when I come out there?
It's possible. It's possible.
Free skiing, free lift tickets, and free food for dear old dad is what I'm thinking.
It's we do have those benefits. So if your behavior is okay enough, well, then we'll think about it.
I'll work on it. That'll be awesome.
Okay.
Well, that's it. Dylan's last performance here tonight. We just scratched together the song because it's very late Sunday. We're still trying to get this video up and edited and haven't even started editing it yet, and it's late on Sunday. So we got to do this. And it's a Jim Croce song. We just kind of picked one out.
And the first line is, I know it's kind of late.
I know it's kind of late. I knew you'd understand.
There you go.
All right, this is in G, and we'll do this. I'll give you just do a thing in the middle.
Yeah, let's do a thing.
Just do a thing in the middle. All right, it's in G. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Well, I know it's kind of late. Hope I didn't wake you. What I gotta say can't wait. Knew you'd understand. Every time I tried to tell you, the words just come out wrong. So I had to say I love you in a song. talk and play at the same time?
Maybe.
What's the circumference of the Earth?
About 200 miles, isn't it?
I think it's a little more than 200. Big finish.
That wasn't it. That was not it.
Thanks for hanging with us on another Problem Cause Live Sunday night. Glad to have you with us. Say goodbye to Dylan, and he'll be back, I promise, and he'll be in the live chat every Sunday night, I'm sure, won't you? And you'll see me on the slopes here some this spring as I scam some free lift tickets at Dylan's place out there. We got to get out here. Let's get this thing up on the air. On the air. Ready?
Yeah, ready to break.
Have a good night.
Good night.